Now I would like to present you Luciano Lavagetti.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's him. He's the head of new digital project in Switzerland. And actually, I'm really interested to know about Wetube project that you are prepared. And here I read that Wetube is a place to be, a new form of public service close to the generation of young digital creators, and offers space, technical equipment, and workshops to develop skills and discover new trends and talent. I would like to get a part in this.
Yeah, that's the advertisement, and that's the reality, which is often a little bit different. Hello, thank you for having me here. Parte del tuo mondo was a slogan that we use at RSC to indicate that people are part of our world, but we soon enough found out that the younger demographic wasn't really part of our world. So we launched a project about 3 years ago, trying to connect again with this younger audience and create products that were not necessarily broadcast products, as we all know, but products that would be more on social media or other platforms that are used by the younger generation. The latest addition to this project, but not the last one, I hope, is what we call Wetube. Wetube is basically a space that is given to the younger digital creators to create their stories, to create their content. Not until a very long time ago, if we found somebody who had talent, we would have hired him. We don't do that anymore, not necessarily. We prefer to collaborate, to cooperate, to open up to those people, because very often they have more intelligence than we do, and they know trends much better than we do. And getting in constant contact with them help us to rejuvenate our content. That's the mission of our space: support young local creators and video makers to imagine and create digital contents by offering state-of-the-art spaces and equipment, and by organizing inspiring events. We're talking, of course, about a studio. We'll see something a little bit later. But also some co-working space and other spaces where you can get in contact with our professional people, and where those people can give master classes or some other kind of educational content to help the young creators to create their content. This is the concept, very rough and very summarized. There's a space where we call Create. It's actually where the content is created, which is a small studio that we will see later. Very easy, that can be operated by those YouTubers or like digital creators. They don't have to be YouTubers. They can create any content they want. Supported by another space where people can meet and think about their content. And then we have the part cooperating, which is this community building, which goes both ways. So we help them not only with the building of a content, giving them some kind of facilities that they don't have in their daily life. We're talking about very young people, but also helping them to create the stories and to get in contact with professionals that are doing this job. And as a public service company, we think it's very important to give some kind of fundamentals in the job without being like boring or educational, because that is not something that the younger generation likes. Then the learn part is more master classes. It's more inspiring. It's more having people over that will tell how difficult this industry is, how difficult it is to be a digital creator, how difficult it is to live out of it, especially in a small region where we are operating.
So you're actually doing sorry? Just a quick question. So you're actually doing first the creation and the learn part?
No, it's not. It's just the 3 pillars. You can use any of these.
I was confused a little bit.
It's just the full concept. We say we don't want to give just a creative space, but also we want to give some added value. And we thought that would be, it's sometimes for those younger generation is the first and maybe only contact to our reality, to our company, to our media company. So we want to bring them in and create a contact between all the big professions we have in our industry, talked and brought to younger audience in a space that they find their own space. Here I have a very small video that will show you how there's no audio is not
Offre
important.
eventi e risorse produttive di ultima generazione per aiutare i giovani youtuber e appassionati videomaker a realizzare i loro progetti. Un ambiente moderno e stimolante dove creare, collaborare ed imparare con chi condivide la tua passione. Utilizza lo studio per le tue riprese, crea i tuoi primi video e dai vita alle tue idee più ambiziose. Prenota una visita ed iscriviti su spaziowetube.ch.
Let's get to work.
So that was it. As you see, we'll launch it like no more than 3 months ago now. So it's pretty new, and we are the first in the SRG SSR having this, and now they're planning other studios in the other areas, Zurich and Geneva particularly. These are the goals. I won't go through it. They're just slogans. But it's very important for us, the contamination and the collaboration and partnership. Those are the things that we cherish most. Contamination both ways. We need to get in contact with a younger audience. We need them to bring their virus into our company, and we will like to give them something in return, which is some professionalism and some help in creating their content. And that's what is happening quite well. Those are the targets of our project. Of course, we have a lot of a collaboration with institutions in our regions. We're talking about universities, we're talking about movie schools, we're talking about film festivals, we're talking about video schools. Then we have, and that would be the great part, collaboration within the company. Spam and Flex are the two younger audience products we have. One is more Facebook and Instagram oriented, the other one is a YouTube channel. And they're aiming at Flex around 12, 16-year-old audience. And Spam, which is more news oriented, is about 16, 22, so very young people. And then, of course, we have the lab. The Laboratorio delle Idee, it's the lab, it's where everything was born, even Wetube, and it's a virtual space where people of the company get together. They work according to sprint methods, so in 5 days they usually create a prototype of something new, and then this new thing will be developed further if necessary. And then, of course, the nucleus of this thing are the digital makers, YouTuber creator, and the young video makers of our region, because those were the main target. This is the space. We have the studio area, which is very simple, very basic. Actually, we had to downgrade the space, which was a little bit more professional. We had to downgrade it to a level where everybody can work freely, because we don't have any technical assistance whatsoever. We have it only if required and not quite often. Then we have the co-working area. There is where the editorial team of Spam and Flex are working, and also these young creators come and can work together. So it's where ideas are exchanged, where experiences are exchanged, and also where we give a little bit of what the fundamentals of public service is to these people. They don't know anything about rights. They don't know if they can use music freely. They don't know what it means to be balanced and to give, some kind of like neutral vision or correct vision of things. And we try to show them that. Teach is not the right word. Then we have the workshop area. It's where the labs are taking care. It's a small area where we create content. And then we have the editing rooms that are available. Of course, you don't have to use everything. Everybody uses whatever they want. We located that where the old radio building is, the building that we're going to live in a few years, because that would be a little bit more central, a little bit more urban, and easier to be accessed by these younger demographics. This is your studio. What you see here is basically the Wetube kit thing. Is what we give to the people if they want to do something outside the facilities. That happens sometimes. And then the little studio is not much different than any YouTube space that you will find in larger cities. Of course, we don't produce things for YouTube. We don't have a commercial value behind it. It's just a space, but the inspiration is more or less the same. The editorial space, as I said, this is a space where you meet. It's very modular. You can just create and move things the way you want. By the way, these little chairs can be turned into tables that can be piled up, that can change shapes. So it's very easy to be used. And those are the cooperation we have. Of course, the rest of the company I put RSC because it's a problem. We are a little bit isolated from the rest of the company. They look at us with a little bit of suspicion because we're taking resources away, and nobody likes to have resources being taken away, especially the TV people. Television is a very expensive media, as you all know, and taking away resources, which for us doesn't mean money, it means people, because 60% or 70% of what we are is our people producing program. So we have to cooperate with the rest of the company and so also show them daily, continuously, that we are a resource for them. We're not taking away, we're also giving. We're also giving back. And the contamination is not us going to them, but it's them coming to us. So what we try to do now is to include them into our products so that they will see how it works.
Yes.
And by the way, the space is used more and more by normal programs.
We are trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. You just said, because exactly, if people, young people, which would like to create some content, would like to come to the our show, then later they can like just provide other things for the whole TV production.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And what happens now is also that the traditional media are using more and more our facilities.
Yeah, and you're
because
like,
of course
yeah.
it's cheap and it's easy. So they can also it's nice to see. It gives this like, you know, young look. So sometimes producers think that being in a younger setting will make things younger, which is not always the case. Almost never, actually.
So you succeeded.
But they
at that.
like, yeah, we succeed. We succeeded. It's an ongoing process. It has to be maintained and kept. I think what was good is to keep it separate from the rest of the company in the beginning, because we've seen so many projects being born in the company and then being given immediately to other newsrooms and then being diluted into daily business, because I need you to do that, I need you to do that, and then you lose this compactness, you lose this like nucleus. So what we tried is to protect this environment, and now I think the environment is strong enough and it's assessed enough so that people can interact without dispersing the work. Then, of course, we work with this laboratory, with this lab, which is creating the new products, not only for digital world, but also for the traditional, more traditional. We work on podcasts for radio. We even work on organizational issues, because it's a method, and we apply this method to many topics. Not only program, but mostly program. And then you have Spam and Flex. Spam is the older brother, which was born like 2 years ago, and is the one working more with Facebook in the beginning. And now Facebook is getting older and older, so we're moving away from Facebook, moving into Instagram. We abandoned Snapchat, but that's another story. And then Flex. Flex is the first and only, so far, product from our company just for YouTube. That was also a big change in mentality, because usually we create contents for our own platforms. We never created in the past contents for other platforms. It was like something never heard of, that we create things that we don't distribute on our own media. And with this project, now we are creating things that are made for platforms that are not owned by the SRG, and this is a really big change of mentality, because we don't own the product anymore. If we put it in the net, then it's not ours anymore. It's shared, and it can end up wherever it wants to be. So it's a big, big change of mentality. Then there's the events part, which is also very important, is proximity. We want to create proximity because we're living in a digital world, but on the other hand, we want to have contact with the people. So we have All these events we call We Learn, where we have these master classes, so people coming and inspiring the younger creators to create products. Then we have the We Talk, which is more like conferences. The spaces are very small, by the way, so we're talking about 20 people. We're not talking about like larger audiences. Then we Do, which is basically video creations, video contests, way to create products. And then we have the We Are, which are basically success story, inspiring stories of people going down the path of being a digital creator and creating things. By the way, I didn't mention, but the space is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Once you are a Wetuber, then you get your own little card and you have access to the studios. And I must say, outsiders are much better in dealing with things than insiders. So we have a bigger mess in our studio when people from RSI are working than when people outside are working. So there's a lot of respect for our material, and that's a very, very good thing. That gives a hope for the future. These are a couple of facts. So far, we started in February. We have 140 people using the facility regularly. 82 of them are students, so they're participating into programs and they work with us, but they also work in the institution they're going to. All events have been fully booked and are all booked until in the end of the year. There's a lot of interest in. We are rerunning some events because we can't have people. Average age is 25. The youngest Wetuber is 13. The oldest is 55. So the concept of young doesn't always apply to demographics, but sometimes applies to whoever or whatever the person feels like. But the average age is 25, so we younger. Then we have the collaboration with university and schools and institution, even middle schools. I mean, it really doesn't matter the age of the people. And then we have a high interest from other associations. I mean, we're trying to create this kind of network to create a sort of like cooperation with our territory. That's what local medias do, and that's what we've always been doing in the traditional field, and now we're trying to do it in this field too. And that's it. Was it far enough? That was fast?
Yeah, you were really fast.
Because I have a plane to catch. That's the trick.
Yeah. So, okay, we are available for questions.
If there's any questions, I can still take a couple of questions.
I have a couple of concrete questions. Do you have an age limitation to take part in the YouTube project?
Age?
Age.
No, we don't discriminate. Even you can participate, no problem. No, we don't. We don't.
Can I apply?
It was a choice because, I mean, of course we say you should be younger than 30, but then who cares? If somebody is passionate and does it non-professionally and does it for pleasure, why not?
If you understand the youngsters. So.
Also, it's nice to see that there is an interaction between ages, and that's also helping a lot. Because if you don't bring your professional experience, because some of them don't even have, even at 50, you bring your own personal experience and you bring your story, and that helps and motivates younger people. So we don't see, and younger people don't see it as a limitation. They're used to old people around, so they don't care so much.
And those young people who produce content that finally go on the media and on your traditional media, do they somehow paid off? Do you have any reward for them besides prestige to be there?
It's a little bit complicated because in reality we don't own the content. We have two different things. Either you come, you produce your own content, the content is yours. We don't take any responsibility for what's happening. We have, of course, some rules that have to be followed, but it's not that we check the content. The content can be placed on any platform they like. It's their content. It's powered by RSI, but that's all. And the other possibility is the cooperation. It's exactly what we're trying to do, especially with Flex, which is for a younger audience. And then if we find that they have some ideas that can be developed and that can be interesting for our viewers, then in this case we reward them. We actually pay their work, a small fee because we don't have so much money, but we still pay. And then in this case the content will be put on our platforms too, or will be shared, them and us. But that's the difference. In certain cases, it happened already. We kind of like gave them some jobs and say, you make me 20 of these things, and then we've been putting them on our platforms. It really depends. What's interesting, as I said before, is the fact that you're getting content with people that are much more mobile than we are. Once you hire them, 6 months later, they're old. When you keep them there, they keep on changing, because they change constantly, but they also keep you updated with who is the newest media, who is the newest platform, who is the newest social media, where are we going now, what are we doing. And that is much better than any intelligence.
I suppose that system of production is completely different from the TV production.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
There's no...
They do it by themselves? Like
they do everything
part?
by themselves.
Yeah? Okay.
Instead of doing it in their little room, they come and have a better lighting, because everything is set. So everything is working. I mean, if you use a green screen, then you have a green screen, you don't have shadows. You have, I mean, from that point of view, it's more professional. But from the way of using it, it's a very simple, and you can do live streaming, you can do whatever you want.
I like it. So,
you can come and visit us.
I will. Don't worry.
That's a lady with some...
Yeah, of course.
Maybe you already said, but I was wondering how big is the staff working with these VTubers from RSC?
How many? Sorry, I didn't get it.
How many are working with this constantly?
How many of them are working?
Are working with
we
you,
have our
from
editorial staff are about 10 people.
10 people.
It's called, I mean, it's 8 full-time equivalent, but it's like 10 people. And those 10 people are the one who are interacting with them. But they have the product to make. So it's not that they're working with them. They're working with them.
Coaching them and helping out.
Yeah, helping out if they need, or they can come and see how the editorial meeting go, how things work, what the reasoning behind some production is. And so they get some kind of like idea also on storytelling, because sometimes they don't know how to build a story, even for just a minute.
Yeah.
Actually, the shorter, the more difficult it gets to build it. So they participate. Yeah. But it's not that somebody is like going for 4 hours and talking to them, because we don't have time for that. So it's more an interaction.
You do have some kind of procedure for choosing who is going to be a VTuber, some kind of pitch or...
No, we really don't. We invite them for a meeting. We have a personal meeting. They come, they see the facilities. We talk to them. We try to understand what their goals are, what they want to do. And then they just have some kind of like rules that they have to follow. They sign those rules and they get their VTuber card and they're in.
Yep. Okay.
And if they create content, then they get a special card that allows them to be around 24 hours a day. They can come whenever they want. Mostly at night.
I knew that.
You knew that, right?
Yeah.
But it's not a problem. By 6 o'clock in the morning, then we have the cleaning stuff coming and everything is fine again. But they're very nice people. We don't have problems.
Thank you. Do we have some other questions,
There's
maybe?
a
Yeah?
gentleman there.
We'll just pass by the mic. Do you
1
have time
minute
for it?
will be my last.
Just okay. So this will be the last question, and maybe they can contact you
Yeah,
later.
sure.
And okay.
Lovely solutions.
Hi, I'm Donald from BBC Alpha. First of all, congratulations. It sounds a fantastic project. What are your company's, RSE's success criteria? What is the return on your investment, if you like, if you don't own the content? Do you have a KPI or a measurement?
For this, you mean?
Yes.
Well, for the old thing, as I said, is getting contact to the younger audience. There we have, of course, some KPI for our projects and for our products. For the studio itself, actually no, and that was the good thing that was given to us. But that was also a success story. We started with spam, it worked. So they gave us Flex, which was a little bit more complicated, it worked. So they both worked, now they give us this. So it's like, and this was with no KPI at all. It was just, we trust your idea, you've done good so far, let's do it and let's see how it works. And it was working very well, and it's working very well. We're very happy about it. It's not going to last forever. That's another thing we have to imagine. These things don't last forever. It's over. Maybe in a year it will be over, and we will have to move forward and do something else. But right now it works very well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.